American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by both of my co-hosts, Coach Q and Chris Green. What's going on, fellas?
What up? What up?
What's
Oh, it's
up?
supposed to be like that. Well, we're doing another one. The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, and you can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who listens or watches but doesn't hit that button, we know you're a hater, but that's all right. We're going to get on with the show. Maple League teams are back in action on Thursday with the Helsinki Wolverines versus the Helsinki Roosters. And then the Loyal Crusaders play the Seinäjoki Crocodiles on Friday. And the weekend ends with the Porvoo Butchers and the Kuopio Steelers playing on Saturday. So let's get a little bit into each one of these matchups. And the first game we'll talk about is Helsinki Wolverines versus the Helsinki Roosters. Is it the Helsinki Derby? Is that what we're calling it now? Helsinki Derby?
Yeah.
All right. So, Q, I'll let you go first. What is a storyline or a question you want to ask one of these teams or both of these teams?
Um, I don't want to say storyline or whatever, but I'll just say, these teams have a lot of history, as far as playing against each other and bragging rights and stuff like that. So recently, the Roosters been owning that. I don't see anything happening different in this game. I would like to see if the Wolverines made any changes anywhere as far as what they plan on doing. But other than that, I feel like the Roosters are going to use this game somewhat similar to what the Crocs did. I don't see them sitting people, but the people that are injured and they want back, I think they're going to let them rest this game. I think the Roosters' offense can handle this game without having. I think Bryce should still play. I think Greenfield, Ethan should still play. All of those guys should still play. I just think the guys that you want to come back and that you're going to need later on in the season, I think you let them rest this game. But you should be able to handle what the Wolverines do. So I don't really see. I guess any storyline is, do you continue to play hurt through the Wolverines? And I say yes, you should.
What about you, Chris? What are you thinking about this game?
Are we going to see any life in the Wolverines' offense? Are they going to try something new? Because they haven't been very successful. They put 14 points on the Crocodiles, but we know the Crocodiles were without American imports on their defense. So Wolverines haven't really showed much kind of on the offensive side of the ball yet. So I'd like to see a little bit more creative plays from the Wolverines, something to catch the Roosters off guard, maybe a trick play or two, or maybe something different. They need to get Kevin Adams the ball more as well, my boy Kevin. Like, let's get him in space, run him on some screens or something, get creative because that boy can move after the catch. So I think they need to include him a bit more, get him some more touches, and play the guys at running back as well. Get some of those Americans at running back sometimes. They've only got the one American import in Kevin, so why not play those guys on offense as well? Like get them the ball, give them some touches, see what they can do with the ball. Do something different because at the moment it's just not working for the Wolverines, and they need to do something different in order to be competitive in this game. I'm not going to say win. I'm going to say competitive.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, the question is how many points can the Roosters score? Okay, last week we got a 50 burger with cheese on it. That's when you get to 60. I'm saying put some pickles, some onions, maybe double patty that thing this week. Put up as many points as you can because if you're gonna put up points against anybody, why not do it against your quote unquote rivals? Which brings me to another question. This is the main question. Is this even a rivalry? And now I'm asking you guys, do y'all think this is actually a rivalry?
I mean,
Yeah,
historically,
yeah,
yeah, it is a
yeah.
rivalry. I think because the Roosters are so much better than the Wolverines this year and have been for the past few years, it kind of takes a little bit of edge off of it, but it's still a rivalry. Like they're two local teams. Like it's a no
But
brainer. It's a rivalry.
I don't think you have to be a rivalry just because y'all are in the same city, though, right? Like, Can they be like
I
sister
think
teams?
I think it's like it doesn't necessarily be a rivalry if you're in the same team. That's usually we usually say crosstown rivals. That's basically what this is. It's like even though it's not crosstown, it's still like when they were on the same level or close to being on the same level as far as organization and players. Then yeah, so you got to keep it going, even though it's not as if the Wolverines are 3-0 right now. Would this game feel any different than it would if they was now? I still don't think so. I still think people still look at it as like the Helsinki Wolverines against the Helsinki Roosters. If you played in 1995, yeah, this is a rivalry. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
younger people don't understand the rivalry concept because they feel like, oh, they're not winning, so they're not a rival to us. Like, no, this is historically, the franchises that besides East City Giants, who really was, you could pretty much say they was a rival to the Roosters at one point in time. So I think, it is still a rivalry, even though the Wolverines aren't doing their part in the rivalry, you know what I mean, of making it a game that people really want to come watch. You know what I mean? But they'll still have it's going to be fans there still, you know what I mean? Because just those names alone.
You know what? I'm gonna open this up to the old heads because I know there's some old people that might occasionally listen to this podcast, or maybe someone knows some old people because I feel like historically there's got to be something of like why they think this is a rivalry. Because I'm just gonna go off from my opinion and what I've known of rivalries. Obviously you're in the same town, so that means you're a rivalry. But the Wolverines didn't start till like what 1996. Butchers, Roosters, East City Giants. I can see them being rivalries. Them 1979 teams. They have the longevity of like organization. And in my opinion, again, don't get mad at me if y'all hear this and you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm coming from someone from the outside looking in, obviously, but in my opinion, the Helsinki Wolverines aren't rivals to the Roosters. I think that's not even fair to either team. I think the Wolverines are more like a alt team, an alternative to the Roosters, and for the Roosters, someone can't be your rival when. I mean, it's like more like a little brother or a cousin to you. Like they're
Well, you
a
saying
team
that
that
now? You speaking of recent though? You're talking of like recent,
no.
like with what you
I'm
seen
saying
because what I seen when I
I'm
first
saying
got to Europe,
not from what I've
when I first got to
seen.
Finland, it was a rivalry. Like when Stokes used to be the quarterback of the Wolverines, they were not looking like this. So it was a rivalry because
I'm not basing it on the play
game.
at all. I'm not basing it on the play at all. That's what I'm saying is that I understand that like when you're playing each other it's a rivalry because technically everybody's a rivalry when you play each other. So I get that when they're both good, yeah, they're gonna have that quote unquote rivalry. But I'm saying as organizations, they've never really been in the same sphere, in my opinion.
But they have though.
Besides on the field.
They have
Besides on
though.
the
It's
field.
just now
For a
they
short
don't
period of
because
time. One
the
team
organization.
What 96 to 2026? One team is less than 30 years old, right?
I know, but I'm saying if you really like, okay, if you talk to an old head, they're gonna tell you that like 90, I'm gonna say
Yeah, in
98,
96.
99,
Yeah, when they
98,
first started.
99 to 2008, they were rivals. From that's a
Yeah.
long time. They was rivals. I'm just saying when they changed the people that was running the organization, like when people started changing their boards, okay, yeah, that rivalry part of it kind of went away. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But for a long time, like if you seen them if you see the games from 2006, 2007, times like you would be like, why the Wolverines don't look like this no more? Like
so what you're telling me is that the Wolverines, see, I'm under this weird understanding that, the Wolverines were built to, not be the Roosters and people that maybe didn't want to be part of the Roosters. What you're saying is the Wolverines was built to beat the Roosters.
They were built to beat the Roosters.
That was the whole purpose.
We're
gonna take it from you.
They didn't want to join them. This is a lot of maybe the old East City Giants guys. They didn't want to be part of the Roosters organization. They wanted to have their own, you know what I'm saying? But once East City Giants fizzed out a long time ago, they had to have something else that come up, and this Helsinki Roosters was the Wolverines was the closest.
Wolverines.
So, yeah, so they weren't never supposed to be like the little brothers. Now East City Giant is like the little brothers now because of the league they in and all that stuff. But I think it's like historically there is no besides the Butchers, and I don't think there really is, you know what I'm saying, no other like rivalry. But I say now people don't treat it like a rivalry because they don't treat it like a rivalry. You know what I mean? Like the players
it's hard to treat
it. They go into this game like it's just another game. Like America wise. A rivalry means that I don't care if you're 0-3 or 3-0, we're trying to kill you. We're going to fight. We're going to brawl down there. Like, we do not like y'all. Like, we had schools like that in my junior college, in my 4-year school. It was certain schools that just, like, historically, we do not like y'all. From the moment y'all get off the bus, you're going to hear chirping. When you get on the field, it's going to be a 15. I can guarantee you, bro, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty to the first player of the game against a rival. That's how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, my coach is like, if we don't get a flag, I'm running the shit out of y'all after practice. After the game. If we don't get a flag on the first play of the game, because now you setting the tone. Like, you let, like, I want everybody to go run and hit somebody on the first play of the game. And you'll be surprised what that do for a game, because you'll be like, wow, I've never seen that like this in my life. You can only throw one flag. You can only throw one flag.
I wish they would.
You know,
I wish, especially with the game being like at the Velodrome where they both play. Technically, the Wolverines are the home team. Like, I don't know if this is even possible, but I would make sure that the Roosters have to be in the bad locker room. You know, I didn't put a little trash in the locker room. I probably tell one of my big old linemen, go stink that place up 30 minutes before they show up. You know, just make sure that's what they smelling all game. And I'd bring as much blue as possible inside and outside. Like, you'd be like, this is a Wolverines game. That's what I would do. I would look. This is a little petty, but this is something I've had done to me recently. Whenever the other team, not the Wolverines, whenever the Roosters get the ball and, you know, they get to play that music and stuff, I'd be spitting that Kendrick Lamar. They not like us. They not like or something else that, you know, lets them
make
know.
it live.
Let them know that, hey, you not the home team. But I don't think they're gonna do that.
Definitely not.
There's going to be one Wolverine sign, and everybody's going to show up together. You're going to see a Roosters and a Wolverine riding together, carpooling. They're going to all be shaking hands before the game. Like, hey, good luck to you out there, yo. Nice to see you. Since I played on your team last year or something like that, you never know. But we digress, obviously. But getting back to the game, key matchups in this. What are you looking at, Q?
I would say more than anything, imports against imports. One group of imports are going to have to do everything. The other group are just going to pretty much have to do their part and do what they've been doing. I think Bryce Nunley, I don't see him playing past the first half. I think he'll be a big part of it. Maybe even try to do the running game. I think the Roosters maybe even, you know, try to get their running game a little more sturdy and do that. I wouldn't really go out there and have Ambrose throw the ball 30 or 40 times. There's no point of that. I would just work on my run game this game and certain pass plays when we have to pass. 3rd and 7, 3rd and long, I would pass. If it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, I'm running the ball because I still think we're good enough hurt to beat them, not fully hurt. So I think import against import.
Okay. What about you, Chris? What are you thinking in this one?
I'm going to say the Wolverines defense against Ethan Greenfield, because we've seen what a workhorse he is and what a Swiss Army knife he is and how they can attack defenses with him, whether that be on the ground or through the air. What has this defense got to stop him? Because he is a real key player in this game. And like Q said, I think they probably rest key players like him and Nunnally at halftime if they're up big. But I think the Wolverines defense have got to step up and they've got to stop this guy. They need to make a statement because he's been running all over teams the past couple of weeks. He's been doing his thing and he hasn't really been challenged yet. So what are they going to do to be able to stop him? What blitz packages are they going to throw in? What stunts are they going to throw in with the defensive line? Like, what are they going to do differently to stop this man? Because they need to stop him. Because if they don't, it's going to get away from them quickly.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with the Roosters secondary versus the Wolverines skill players. I guess I don't want to say receivers because I feel like they use the running back as well, but I don't. I haven't seen anything from the Wolverines that suggests that they have like a dynamic offense. Chris said it earlier. Kevin Adams is the passing game, and also shout out to Kevin Adams. I didn't mention this in the previous episode, but the dude goes over the middle and takes some tough hits and catches some tough passes for them to actually move that offense at times. I mean, mostly they had the referees helping them move against the Crocodiles, but when they needed actual offense, he does a really good job, like by himself, pretty much being their offensive weapon in the pass game. But I don't think that's going to work against the Roosters. I dare to say the Roosters have the best secondary in the Maple League. Am I correct to say that? What do you think? I think they do. I mean, overall,
I don't really know yet. I don't really know
I-
yet. I don't want to.
I don't think anyone has a better one. I'm not saying they have like the best I've ever seen, but if I look at their five and I look at everyone else's, theirs is a much better five than most. And that's with two corners that I'm not excited about per se, but it's really the group because they move guys around. You have Julian Bell, you have Oscar Toyola. Those are your two safeties, but then you also have Aku Katanen, who plays in a nickel, and then you have Ronnie Lane, who plays corner and nickel for him. And then you have, okay, now we're going to get into names I don't know, but number 28, the Swedish kid, he comes in at corner sometimes. And then there's one more guy that they have in rotation. I want to say 20. No, number 30, maybe? Number 30 is a safety. Never mind. Yeah. But there's another guy that they put in at corner sometimes, but because Ronnie Lane can also play in your nickel spot whenever Aku's not there. So they have a lot of versatility, and it's a large group. I just named like 5 or 6 guys, and they have between 4 and 5 positions depending on their defense. And you're able to do a lot, but you're also able to rotate guys and play matchups. Like they can pretty much match up with anybody. Like even if they don't physically match up, they have, a personnel or a set that they can win or make any weakness to their advantage. I think that makes them really difficult to beat on the back end and in the run game because you have guys like Aku Katanen, Ronnie Lane, Oscar Toyola. Those dudes can tackle. They can hit. You can actually put them at outside linebacker. Like they don't just have to be a nickel backer for you. They can play outside linebacker and have run responsibilities. They're going to come in there and be your force player. So that makes it a really hard group to beat. And in this game, I'm doing a matchup, but how do you attack that group as the Wolverines? I don't know, but I think that's going to make the difference. I think the Wolverines can run the ball. I think if they really want to, they'll be able to run the ball against the Roosters. The defensive line has a couple chinks in this armor. They're missing a couple of players. But if the Roosters decide we're going to bring our safeties down, we're going to let our nickel backer get into the run game, that's their secondary helping their defense. It's not necessarily their front seven. And as long as that secondary is there and they're able to move them around, even on the outside, you can put Ronnie Lane and Aku Katanen at nickel and outside linebacker and still have decent corners to guard against the Wolverines. So how are the Wolverines going to expose that or at least try to find a weakness in that secondary? That's the key matchup for me. We're not going to really talk about interesting aspects because I felt like we already did with the Derby talk. So with that, we'll just move on to the next matchup. I don't know how to work these banners, but the next matchup is Loya Crusaders versus Sineoki Crocodiles. Chris, I'll let you go first on this one. Storyline question for this matchup.
Are the Crocodiles going to rest their defensive starters again for the second week running? We saw it last week. They rested them, and arguably this team are about on par with the Wolverines, maybe slightly better than the Wolverines, I'd say. But are they going to still rest their guys? Were they resting them because they had a couple of injury concerns, or was it just rest because they thought, it's the Wolverines, we're just going to roll them over anyway? Or are they going to take a different aspect, maybe play them for the first half, see how much they're up by, and then sit them for the second half? We don't know. So I think that's an interesting kind of question is, what are the Senioki Crocodiles going to do? Are they going to rest anyone else as well? Who are they going to look to rest? Are they not going to rest? Me personally, I think early in the season, I said this on the last episode, I'm not a big fan of rested players this early in the season. I get it if this was game 12 or game 11 and you've already secured a playoff spot, then yeah, rest some guys. That's absolutely fine. But this early in the season, I think it's a bit of arrogance as well, which it it's one of them things. It's quite disrespectful. And if I was the opposition, I'd be highly disrespected if they did that again in this game.
That's my question. I'm going to ask it now is if they don't rest these guys against the Crusaders, how much more disrespectful is that to the Wolverines that they did? Like, oh gosh. But Q, what about you? What's a question or storyline in this one for you?
I kind of want to piggyback off what Chris said. I don't think they're gonna rest them against the Crusaders because let's get one thing straight. The Wolverines don't have what the Crusaders got in the backfield. Let's say that. So they can't afford to both of them, not Chris and the other guy. They can't sit both of them. So I expect one of them to at least play majority of the game. Probably be the backer though. Probably be the linebacker though. But I just think what's interesting is how much better will the Wolverines look, if they'll look better, if last week was just a energetic fluke, or if they actually, decided that they're going to play harder. So I would want to see that. I'm sorry. I would want to see the Crusaders play better than what we've seen. I would like for them just to actually show like, hey, we can almost beat one of the top tier of the teams that we think are the strongest, but this is how you have to do it. You have to get that running game going to open up the passing game. Right now, I think they're trying to figure out exactly what they can do still, because like I said, it's still early in the season. It's still 3 games in. They're fighting. If I'm the Crusaders, I know that I just need to fight for one spot. You know what I'm saying? If that's the goal, I know they need to fight for one spot. Well, we just need to get that 4th spot. So whatever we got to do to get there, let's do that. But Senioki, hey man, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do that. I'm just be honest, because right now they're looking, to me, Senioki looks like top 2 teams right now. To me, top 2. I won't right now to me. And I know we said that their run might be done. As far as going to the championship, but right now, I wouldn't want to play Senioki right now, and that's injured Roosters, Crusaders, Butchers. That's iffy. I wouldn't want to play the Crocs right now because they are the only team that I see consistently doing the same thing and it's still working. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not injured. The Roosters playing against the Crocs right now, injury prone. They're not going to beat. They wouldn't beat the Crocs, because they don't have the players right now to beat them. So I see the Crocs winning this game because they're going to do what they do. They're going to run. Kristen Powell is going to play. That's one thing. That's one thing you can guarantee. Kristen Powell is going to play. So
you sure?
He's going to play. Like,
okay.
He's going to play. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not he gets 20, 25 carries, who knows? But I know Kristen Powell is going to play because the other team's running back is playing. And he's going to run hard on your team. So I think they'll get the lead early, try to get the lead early. But you got to know the Crusaders are going to fight. They're going to play hard until they just can't. You know what I mean? So matchup-wise, I don't really see one there. But this more is about heart, grit, and want to more than anything.
All right, for me, Christian Powell is going to play. Well, my question actually, will the Crocodiles sit more offensive starters in this game? I'm going to be cheeky and say that against the Wolverines, they don't have no offense, so you sit defensive players. Against the Crusaders, they ain't got no defense, so you can sit some offensive players in this game. I know this is probably not something that's going to happen, but if you were to sit Christian Powell I think they could win this game with Seydou Jallo playing running back against the Crusaders defense, because the Crusaders defense is just not that good. It's not much of anything. So, or maybe we even get to see whoever's a backup quarterback for the Crocodiles for the first time. And when was the last time you seen the Finnish guy for the Crocodiles at quarterback?
Well, he threw one pass in the last game. He was 1 of 1 for a touchdown.
Touchdown, yeah. He threw a touchdown last game. Yeah.
You know, I don't watch the garbage time, but okay, that makes sense. I mean,
but you mean
that's
like
good though.
Actively playing though.
Yeah, I wonder if they decide, you know,
game.
hey man, we let these Americans take a week off. Let the quarterback get a week off too, and let's see what we got cooking. And I say this wholeheartedly, they could probably win with that backup quarterback in this game. So I think if you're gonna sit the defensive guys 1 week, you chose the right team, and now if you want to sit the offensive guys, choose this team. That's my question or storyline, I guess, is will the Crocodiles sit more players this week? And specifically offensively. I don't really care about the defensive guys. I agree with both of you guys. I think that the Crusaders have an offense that you might not want to take them as lightly because they might actually do something. They got a really good running back. Quarterback is not bad. He's decent as well. And then that number 26, if he ever gets the ball and just runs, that's dangerous compared to the Wolverines, who they can't even take a snap half the time. So I guess we did key matchups. I think Q already did one. He says not really one. What about you, Chris? What's a key matchup in this one for you?
I'm going to say Moses Harris, the running back for the Crusaders, against that Crocodile defense. He is their biggest playmaker, and the Crocs have to stop him. If they don't stop him, he's going to run riot. He is a good player. He can make things happen. We've seen it even happen with a bad offensive line. That the Crusaders' offensive line is not great. It's average at best. And he still makes things happen. He makes guys miss in the backfield. Imagine if he was behind the Roosters' offensive line, for example, what this guy could do. Because you see this guy on open field, he can run, and he is a big load. Like, he'd be trucking guys and guys bouncing off him. Like,
let me ask you guys this: who does he remind you of play style wise? To me, I think he's a Marshawn Lynch type. I think beast mode, like the way he runs,
version of
the way he runs. Yeah.
They might be the same height, honestly.
You think he looks quite tall on film?
Marshawn Lynch is taller than people think. It's just he's in the NFL. Like,
yeah, me and Marshawn might be at the hot. Marshawn like 5'10", I think 5'9", 5'10".
I think he's closer to 6 foot.
I mean, I'm 5'11". I guess I'm close to 6 foot.
He's 5'11".
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. 5'11".
Yeah,
5'11", 6 foot is again a little different. I'm 5'10", and I look short. Marshawn Lynch is 1.8 meters, so that's got to be 5'11".
When you wide,
yeah,
people think you like shorter than what you really are. But
yeah, and you got those offensive linemen there like 6'8", 6'9" in the NFL.
Yeah.
So the quarterbacks are like 6'5", so everybody towers above him. But again, that's what I'm saying. He's about 6 foot. That's why he reminds me of like Marshawn Lynch. If you ever seen like Marshawn Lynch's like high school film, he's like a foot and a half taller than everybody.
Wow.
Like him and Reggie Bush both, like in high school, they looked way taller than everybody. Then they got to college and NFL and shrunk because it depends on where you're at. But I think he reminds me of Marshawn Lynch. What about you guys? Who do y'all think he reminds you of?
I'll say the same thing. I mean, he run hard like that. Don't have really the crazy breakaway speed that we've seen yet. You know, because he had to get through 5 or 6 people before he even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think he can. I think if he gets loose, he's gone for sure.
Well, I've seen him go from like one side of the field and outrun everybody to the other side of the field. I think that's pretty evident. But it's different when you're going like straight downfield too.
Yeah.
See the breakaway speed. Chris, you agree? Marshawn Lynch, that's what we're calling him?
Marshawn Lynch, maybe a little bit of Derrick Henry in there as well. Like his kind of running style. He reminds me a little bit of how he runs. He runs a little bit like Derrick Henry. So, yeah.
Yeah. Derrick Henry is more like
more upright.
Like, upright running. Yeah, like his legs go up and down. Like beast mode kind of goes out. because he's kind of gaining ground. It's a little bit different running style. You're right. Derrick Henry, actually, that's a good comparison. But yes, for me, I would say matchup in this game. Actually, I agree with you. I think it's the running back versus the defense. I think that's all there really can be in this game. But obviously, I do think the Crusaders got to find some other way to create offense because I think the Crocodiles' defense is good enough to actually slow and stop the running game for the Crusaders. So they're going to have to find somewhere else to put the ball so that he can have a chance. Because they just do run plays or just focus on the running game, it's a wrap. And then eventually the other running back on the other team is going to end up with a whole bunch of yards, as he always does. Interesting fact about this game. Interesting aspect. Who's the home team?
The Crusaders.
Crusaders.
So we'll get to see the Crocodiles' white jerseys. That's always interesting to me, the jerseys. Because I don't. Yeah, I want to see what they're gonna have white jerseys. Ooh, do they have white pants this year, or they have green pants?
I think
they have
green
pants.
Green, yeah.
I would like them to bring out some white pants if they want to, man. Don't be afraid of it. It's just, and I think they're playing on turf, but I think this will be the first home game for Loya, right?
Yeah.
First home game, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Is it the first one?
Oh no! Week one they played the Steelers at home.
Yeah, they played at home. So interesting to see if their fans, show up now that they've lost a couple games. See if they still have it. Cause I think at the first game they had a good outing. Go ahead.
They're playing at a different ground. So
what?
first, they're playing at a different place. So I'm just looking at the schedule now. The first game they played it. Excuse me, my finish is going to be terrible here, but Oyaman Kenta, and then they're now playing at Haryan Kenta in Loya. So, different place.
Right around the corner. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know nothing about Loya. I probably never will know anything about Loya. It's a little bitty town. But I guess that's it for that game. Let's move on to the next one. See what else we got going. Hold on. All right, last game of the weekend: Portvoo Butchers versus Kuopio Steelers. I guess this is a real one. Is this a real one? I guess. I think so.
Yeah, this is it.
Y'all vote. Oh yeah.
This is it right here. Yeah.
Q, I'll let you go first. What's a question or storyline you have for this one?
Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor. I would say storyline wise is that we've seen him light up the scoreboard back to back. They had an off week this past week, had a bye week, but the first 2 weeks we've seen them pretty much put up over 100 points in 2 games. I don't see anything different happening against the Butchers. I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
Hold on. What? So you're saying 50 burger?
50 burger. 50 burger.
That's bold.
I mean, the Butchers might score like 35 though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that. They probably gonna score 2, but I think the Butchers defense isn't playing well enough to handle Josh Taylor's arm.
Don't tell Chris that. He thinks they're the best thing going right now.
Yeah, I don't think their defense is ready right now. Secondary wise, I don't think they're ready right now. One thing I know, Nessie, Josh Taylor, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They're gonna have 2 weeks to prepare for this game, which means they got a lot of film to watch. They know the receivers, the running backs that they have. They have the same weapons that the Butchers have, but one thing they have is a defense that doesn't really haven't shown any weaknesses as far as the people they played against. Now, I'm not saying the Butchers.
That's because they ain't played nobody.
All right, but I only can go off of what I've seen. That's all I'm going off of what I've
seen.
They haven't been tested. I said this before. They haven't been tested. They haven't been tested. The O-line hasn't been tested really for Kuopio yet either. So it'll be great to see what happens now. I just think right now, I think Kuopio is a better team than the Butchers right now. So, and I think Josh Taylor is in a zone as far as what he's trying to accomplish this year and his energy. It looks like he's the driving force of this offense and of this team. So when you got a quarterback like that, he has that. And I don't want to throw him up here with Brandon because I feel like Brandon was like a level of his own. But Brandon Connor, one of those guys who just glow when they on the field. It just seems like he always makes the right throw. He always like when he runs the right way. He never really makes a lot of mistakes. I see that in Josh Taylor, and I just don't think the Butchers are ready for. I think they need to play them, and then the next round have a little more time to be prepared. I could be wrong, but I just think Josh Taylor's going to go out here and throw another 5 or 6 touchdowns against the Butchers. So as far as interesting aspect is are they going to put up 50 or are they going to put up 60? It's just that's the only the interesting aspect I have. There's no disrespect to the Butchers, but the Butchers aren't playing the way that I think they should be playing right now to beat an offense like this. And I'm saying offense like this because I feel like Corpio's offense is so heavy. It's so heavy. It can do the same exact thing that we seen the Butchers do last year. But I think this core of guys together look better right now. You know what I mean? It just looks better. It's like somebody's always open for Corpio.
60?
Always.
60?
like I don't know. I mean, I'm watching the games just like everybody else here is. I know that the opponents that they're playing against aren't that good, so I don't look at that. I'm not looking at the opponents, and I'm looking at the plays that they're calling. I'm looking at how the receivers are running routes. I'm looking at matchup problems. That's what I look at when I look at Corpio. And if the Butchers don't have a plan for Marshall, they don't have a plan for Austin Brock, they don't have a plan for Josh Taylor, there's going to be problems when they play them. Like me saying they scoring 50 points shouldn't feel any kind of way. They averaging it. So it's not like they scoring 20 and I'm like, oh, they're going to score 50 against the Butchers. They're scoring 50 points a game right now. So anything less than that, I'll be surprised. That's all I'm saying. Anything less, I'll be surprised. I don't think it's about the defense they play against. I think it's about Josh Taylor and his offense and the way they run that offense. I just think it's hard to stop right now.
Hey, you make a good point. I mean, you stuck with it. You're talking about their offense is that good. You're not taking nothing away from anybody else, and you're right to say that. Like you said, they're averaging 50. It makes perfect sense. What about you, Chris? What do you think is storyline in this game? You look like you got something on your mind. Go ahead. Let us know. Yeah. It look like you're going to say something. Go ahead. Say it. Let it out.
Can you hear? It's on you. It's on you.
It's on you, Chris.
I know.
My storyline is, hey, I'm ready. My storyline is statement game, ? Because, yes, the Steelers have been averaging 50 points a game, but they play bums. Come on now. They've played the Crusaders and the Wolverines. Yes, they've executed. Yes, they've done all the right things. I'm a big fan of Taylor. I'm a big fan of Brock. But this is a statement game. And the reason is you're playing against the defending champions who are starting to get things back on track. And the Steelers are rolling. They've, like you say, Q, they've had 2 weeks to prepare. They've watched a lot of film, I'm sure. The Nessie effect is there. I've always been a big, Purvis knows this, we've always been big fans of the Steelers and what they've done and the dynasty that they created over there. And they could be back. This could be the Steelers season right now. And I think after this game, we'll know a lot more if that is going to be the case. That's why I think it's a statement game.
Well, that makes sense. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about how you were saying, they played against bums.
Hey, wait, Purvis, before you go, I want to say something, Chris. Before you go, Chris said they played bums. Now, up until this past game, they had the same record as those bums. They had the same exact record.
You said what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he said bums. I'm like, wait a minute.
Look, neither one of these teams has beat a team that has a win. I mean, so that you can scratch that. Like that don't mean nothing. The one team that the Butchers have beaten is 0-3. So the two teams that the Steelers have beaten are 0-2. So they didn't play the same people. I mean, think about it. And in the Butchers' one game, they look half as good as the Steelers have looked in their two games. If you want to do the like tit for tat thing.
I agree.
And I mean, I wouldn't do the tit for tat personally, but if you want to throw the like stats and all that, I mean, you could just do that and it just cancels it out. Like, now you have to look at the two teams. That's why for me, I guess the question in this game or storyline would really be is, you know, pretenders or contenders, I guess is kind of how I would go about it. You know, these are two teams that we fully expected to both be in the playoffs. Win or lose, this game is going to let us know how we really feel about both. If the Butchers win this game, great. That means you're on the up. You're actually figuring stuff out what we expected. If the Steelers lose this game, okay, you're not as good as we thought you were. Like, that's just what we will find out. And then if we vice versa, if the Steelers win, you beat another bum. Like, because then we think the Butchers are bums. Like, because they ain't beat nobody. Only team they beat is a team that's been defeated. So it's
but if they blow them out, if the Steelers blow the Butchers out,
then that makes the Butchers, the Wolverines, the Crusaders, all the
they all bums.
So Scorpio gets no credit at all for beating everybody. Scorpio beat everybody. They don't get no credit.
I'm not even saying it to like take anything away from Scorpio. I'm just saying it to the fact that
they just beat the bombs.
no, I'm saying it more to the fact that just because Porvu won one game,
don't mean they.
Let's not all of a sudden give them like all the respect of what they've done as a championship team and stuff. Like Chris even said, you know, defending champions. I still say this on record, and I'll go back to saying it. The Porvu Butchers defense played one good game last year. It just happened to be the most important game of the year.
Yeah.
That team, that defense has not shown its face this season, and it might not this whole season. Who knows? You get another run, you just got to get to the game. You only got to do it once. And, I mean, kudos to that defense that day, but just because you beat the Wausau Royals, who have make sure I get that in front of the camera, two offensive players, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that makes you a legit contender all of a sudden. And I do think, like with Scorpio, like, yeah, you've beaten some bums, but like you said, they beating the crap out of them. They ain't taking it easy. They putting up points, and their offense looks like it's set up to score. We said that before the season, and they've proven us right 100% during the season. Is even against those two teams, you could have scored less than 50 points, but that's not going to happen with this team. This is not how they're built. While the Butchers, on the other hand, have an offense that is just as capable of scoring the same amount of points. And we've only seen them we've only seen them do it really that one time. And to be technical, they scored 50, but 8 of those points came from defense, right? You had a fumble for 6 and a safety for 2. So technically, you only scored 42 points. So you're not averaging 50 like the other guys. The offense actually wasn't scoring that many points. And it all happened in a very short period of time based on circumstances more than, you know, consistently putting up points, which is what we've seen from Scorpio so far. As they consistently have scored time and time again. They've done it different ways. They've done it with different people. So it's consistent throughout the team. While in the Butchers, we've seen spurts here, spurts there, and that's what we have to go off of. I guess that's all I really have for pretenders. I guess let's get into the matchups. Chris, what do you got for matchups in this game? What's a key matchup? What are you looking at?
I'm going to say the receivers for Scorpio against the defensive backs for Porvu. So we've talked about the defense of Porvu. I think they played well last game. You disagree with me? That's absolutely fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I think they played well.
I didn't say they played bad.
No, you said they played okay.
I didn't say they played great. I didn't say they played great. That's all I'm saying.
So I think it's a key matchup because Austin Brock's the go-to guy for Taylor. So Austin Brock's the man. You've got Isaac Marshall who's going to complement him as well, and you've got a great offense there in what they do. So I wonder how they're going to play Austin Brock. Are they going to cloud him with Zach Wright? Is Zach Wright going to shadow him? Is Zach Wright going to play corner against him? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think it's a real key matchup because the chemistry between Taylor and Brock is just it's second to none. I mean, they play college together, so obviously it's going to be, and they're doing everything right now. So I think this is definitely the matchup of the game. It'll be receivers versus the DBs.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually jump in and just agree with you because that's what I believe as well. I think it's receivers versus DBs. This is gonna be a game where we find out how deep the Steelers are at the receiver position. Because I think if we can go through the roster, I mean, I honestly don't know it that well off the top of my head, but you always think, Austin Brock, there's your number one. Then you think Noah Choate, that's your number two. I'm not sure where you go with number three. Maybe you bring in
Isaac
Marshall. He's supposed to be a running back, but he also plays receiver, so maybe that's your number three. And then I just look on the defensive side, and I'm seeing I don't care who you got at corner, not good enough. I don't care who you got at the other corner, not good enough. But then I'm looking at your safety, Zach Wright, pretty good. Then I'm looking at your other safety, Sylvester, decent, pretty good as well. And then I'm done. So I guess I'm 3-2 at this point, but it's really going to be like you said. Like, do they have Zach shadow him? Does Sylvester shadow him? Last week when the Butchers played against the Royals, they had Sylvester over Alpha at slot pretty much the whole game. Wherever Alpha was, Sylvester went over there and was playing him pretty much man to man, but from the safety position. I don't know if they'll be able to do that against Austin Brock, and then because I think he plays outside more than inside. So they would actually have to have him go to corner. But Sylvester has played corner, so that's a possibility. And then if he does play corner, that means Zach Wright has to be on the other side of the field, which could be a problem if you put Noah Choate and Austin Brock on the same side, because now you have nobody in the slot. But I'm playing devil's advocate, just thinking it through here on the show. But Timmy Nuika, he can cover. He can play the outside linebacker nickel spot. So that could be the solution. But then you have to look at, I mean, I guess who else do they have? Now that I think about it, Butcher's got a chance in that matchup. I think they got a chance. I think you got to be careful because Josh Taylor is a great talent, great arm. He's made nothing but good decisions. But Zach Wright is the type of guy that will make you make bad decisions. He is that type of guy. We've seen him do some things against quarterbacks that you're not supposed to be able to do. He's very good at route recognition. He's probably studied their playbook pretty well by now. And it's going to be a game of wits. I want to change it. I want to change it to Josh Taylor and Zach Wright. I want to see how they play against each other. I think it's going to be a chess match now because I really think like Zach Wright does a really good job of like leading that defense and putting them in the right positions. And how is he going to do that against Josh Taylor and what he has going on that offense, especially if the offense decides to go like no hurry up and just go quickly, because then it's going to be that whole you call a play, I call a check, I check it, then you check it again, something like that. I think of Zach Wright kind of like the Ray Lewis of the defense, if that makes sense, because he's been there 2 years now and he's really getting in tune with the actual letting everyone know what they have to do. Last year there was times where he actually didn't do anything because he was setting everyone else up to get them in positions to make plays. And I think if he does that this game, we're going to be in that situation where they're kind of having a little bit of a chess battle. And I'm excited about seeing that. So that's going to be the key matchup for me. Zach Wright versus Josh Taylor. All right, Q, what about you? What is your question or storyline for this game with the Butchers and the Steelers? No, matchup, sorry. Key matchups.
Secondary, the Butchers secondary with the Corpio Steelers, kind of what y'all was talking about. I think it's going to be harder for Corpio to match up with the Butchers receivers, but I still think Corpio is a little more offensive heavy. So it might be an issue with the Butchers defense. Like I said last week on how you stop Ambrose. This is my Coach Q's tip of the week. If you want to stop Taylor, I think it's the same concept. You got to blitz. Only thing that I would do this different than last.
But he can run.
Blitz from the outside. That's why exactly I said I was going to say the difference is against Ambrose, I said blitz up the middle. Against Taylor, you got to blitz from the outside. Keep him in the pocket. You still want him to make a decision real fast, but you don't want to blitz up the middle or the A gap and B gap because he can run and he'll run outside and then you really got a problem. So I would say consistent blitzing and pressure from the Butchers on the outside will give him a better chance. It'll make him have to make a decision quick. He'll have to go to his hot routes. Now, defensively, you know where his hot routes are. It should be the slot receivers. You should know this. Isaac Marshall, wherever he is, that's probably where his hot route is going to be, or Austin, just depends. But it's going to be a matchup issue on both sides, whether it's Corpio's secondary or the Butcher secondary. The only good thing that I say is I just feel like quarterback-wise, Corpio is just, like he's going to figure it out. Maybe these guys aren't open, but he's going to throw them open. So I want to see the matchup between the secondary and receivers on both sides because I think that's what's going to win the game. The offensive line, the defensive line, they're going to battle, but who plays the better defense on the back end, which receivers can make the most plays when they get the ball in their hands. I personally think it's going to be Corpio, but I still have to play the game. But, yeah, I think that's going to be a crazy matchup to see. The defending champions against the contenders, you know what I'm saying? Or like you say, it could be contender pretenders. We're going to find out this week. But this is a game that I've been waiting on personally because I want to see if the Butchers are back or if this is just a different Butchers team. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. If it is, we'll find out. But definitely Corpio is going to make sure they test them. So we'll find out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, secondary on both sides and receivers on both sides. It's a skill game match for sure. One interesting aspect of this game, I'm trying to figure out something interesting to say here, is it's a Saturday game and it's summertime in Finland. Weather's been pretty good. It might be tough for people to come watch another game. We was out there on Sunday. It was, packed stands, I think it was packed. There was a lot of people there. It was a good time. But if people are anything like, me or any other people out here in Finland, summertime, you trying to, go to the summer house, have a long drink, pop some bubbly even, think people might. I know it's the Kuopio Steelers. It's supposed to be a good game, but also it's a Saturday afternoon. There's not a lot of good Saturday afternoons for us out here in Finland. So people might want to, just go hang out with the family. And I think that's an interesting thing because I think it could be a situation. Kuopio Steelers used to have very good travel fans. Now, I don't know what they have now because we're in a new era. It's a different team, different players. I don't know if they're going to travel the same. But Porvoo usually has really good home game fans as well. And if they don't have that same vibe of Porvoo fans there, it'll make the game a little more amicable for the Steelers. I think that might have something, a little bit of influence on the game because if the Steelers feel comfortable, it could be a whole different thing. And I don't know if we want to see that, but we'll see. But again, I think on Saturday, I don't think I'm going to Porvoo to watch the game. I think I'm gonna stay at the house, maybe go to the summer crib, have a little long drink or something. That's me. I ain't telling no one else to do it, especially if you're a Porvoo fan. Me, I'm probably gonna stay at the summer house or something this weekend. I don't know. Other people might do that too. That's an interesting aspect of it. And that's all I got for that. Let's do. So right now, pick 'em rankings before we do our weekend picks. First place, Andy B is 9-0. Tied for second, Coach Q, Chris Green, and Coach Mike are all 8-1. Tied for fifth, Swami and Jamal Clay are both 7-2. And then bringing up the rear, Perfect Purpose and Ellie M are both 6-3. That sucks.
Just picking just to pick, just to be picking.
I really like. I'm not trying to win nothing. I'm just making picks on a whim, pretty much every week. You never really know. I made last week's pick. I still think I should have got double points because I picked the Royals because I knew it would motivate the Butchers to win. And it did. And I said that. I said
you picking Scorpio? So you picking Scorpio?
Hold on. To my pitch. I'm just saying, sometimes, you hedge the fence to see what happens. Because I had no business picking the Royals. But I did. Because I knew if I picked the Butchers, they would lose. I couldn't have them go out like that. So I did what I did. I took an L for the greater good. You're welcome, Porvo. You're welcome. Picking winners. So picking winners, not easy, but we're going to give it a shot, and we'll talk about each game and do our picks here right now. Our picks will be available on Instagram at American Football in Finland, and you can make your comments in there. And again, if you like our picks, give us a comment. If you don't like our picks, give us a comment. Help us on the algorithm, man. We're trying to get that engagement. But Q, you can go first. Who are your picks first, and then you can tell us why.
I'm going with all the winners. Everybody that's been winning, I'm going with them.
I don't even know who that is. Okay, first game, you got Wolverines and Roosters.
I'm going Roosters first game, hands down. Yep.
And then you got Crusaders and Crocs.
Next.
Crocodiles.
Okay, and then you got Butchers and Steelers. They both won the last games they played.
They did. They both did. And this is going to be an easy pick for me. I'm going Scorpio Steelers.
All right, now explain your picks.
Crocs. I'm going Roosters. I think Roosters is a better team injured than Aloha is right now. They just don't have the personnel, like I said earlier.
No,
he's on the roll
right Wolverines. Sorry.
Roosters
play Wolverines.
Roosters playing the Wolverines. Okay, so still same thing. Same Roosters is the better. Roosters is hurt than the Wolverines are healthy. So that's why I'm going with the Roosters. Sanioki, I'm going with them because I think they're just a better team. I think they're just one of the better teams than everybody right now. So I'm going with them. Scorpio, I'm going with Scorpio against the Butchers. At first, I thought about it. I was like, man, this might be the game that Butchers and like, hey, y'all ain't that good, but we are, type of thing. But then again, when I watch film, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Brock, and what Nessie done got going on, I don't care who they play. They still look explosive. It's almost like they playing catch with themselves, and I don't think that's going to stop because you put the Butchers in front of them. So, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
All right, Chris, what about you? What are your picks and then why? Oh, there it goes.
Q, man. Okay, my picks. He's thrown me right off. My picks. So we got the Roosters against the Wolverines. I'm going to go with the Roosters. They've got the better roster. They've got better talent. They've been more successful than the Wolverines have been in the last couple of seasons. And all the games that they've played so far, I just feel like the Roosters are just too powerful for them. The Crocodiles against the Crusaders. Similar. Crocodiles, they're a top 2 team, I believe, right now. Top 3 team in the league. And the Crusaders are down the bottom. So I don't think they have enough talent. Similar to the Wolverines. They don't have enough talent. The Crocodiles they're just the better team, and I hope the Crocodiles don't rest players. I'd like to see the full onslaught. Try and put some points on the board, make a statement. they need to after last week. Only just beating the Wolverines after resting guys. It wasn't much of a statement. The first half was terrible. They picked it up in the second half. But yeah, I'm still picking the Crocodiles. I'm rambling. Finally, the game that we all care about. The Kuopio Steelers and the Porvoo Butchers. Now, tough one to pick. It's the hardest one to pick all week. I'm going to agree with Q. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think offensively, they are playing the better football right now. I think defensively as well, they're playing the better football right now. They've also had a week's rest. Porvoo have played, this will be their fourth game on the bounce. They've not had a bye week yet. So they're going to be a bit more tired. The Steelers have only played 2 games. They've won those 2 games easy. They played the 2 worst teams in the league. They're rested. They're going to have a good game plan. They're going to have good film on the Butchers. And I think that they're just going to overpower them.
Those are all good picks. For me, I guess I'm going to go pretty much the same as y'all went. I'm going to go Roosters, obviously, because they're a better team. Even though, you know what? Because the Wolverines are the home team, I might wear a Wolverines hat. I don't know. But I'm going to go with the Roosters in the game. Definitely picking the Roosters. And then I'm going with the Crocs because I think those 2 games are easy. Let's skip to last game. I'm going with the Butchers, baby. I'm going with the Butchers. Can't put my hat on over my little thing, over my headphones, but I'm going with the Butchers. Let's go, baby. And the reason that I'm going to be going with the Butchers, this kind of looks, I actually like this. I'm going with the Butchers because they need this game. I know it's like early in the season and you're like, oh, they need this game. They're 1-2, I think it is right now. They need something more than just playing games and hoping for the future. They need a game to say, we're here now. We're in the thick of things. The Butchers need this so that that they have a chance. The Steelers can lose this game and still be, a front runner. They don't have to win this game. Like there's a lot that we can still learn about this team. And again, even if they were to lose this game, it would be something to the tune of, 54-49. Like it wouldn't. Nobody's expecting that they're not going to be able to put up those points. But like you said earlier, Q, they haven't really been tested defensively. We don't really know if their defense is actually good. They haven't played anyone that has really like pushed their limits. Both of the teams they played don't have a receiving core like the Butchers. So this is a chance for the Butchers to really like put that defense to the test. And again, I kind of agree with both of you that I do think the Steelers' offense is one of the most unstoppable. But again, I got faith in Zach Wright. I think him, Timmy Nuika, even Sylvester, I don't know as well, but they create turnovers. They can make something happen. They do that once or twice in this game, make the Steelers kind of think about what they're doing, pull off that upset. I don't think it'll be easy, though. I don't think it'll be easy at all, but I think them being at home allows them to be comfortable. I think that whole them being tired thing, that's a load of bull because they're playing at home, so they'll actually be more rested because they don't have to, like, travel to the game. They have a schedule that's more to their liking. They played on Sunday. They don't play again until Saturday, have a full week off. As much film has been seen, we saw in this last game, their offensive play calling was much different, which means it's not going to be as easy to predict what they're going to be able to do in this game. And I think that gives them a little bit of an advantage. But then again, they're going to be playing a team that has played easy opponents, much easier opponents than they have played so far. I mean, they took an L against the Roosters, but at least that was a decent opponent. So they know what they have to do to play at a certain level. So they know where they need to go. While the Steelers, they're going to find out in the first and second quarter, like where they really match up. And I think if the Butchers can come out, throw the kitchen sink at them early, get some turnovers early, score points, get the Steelers behind, We haven't seen that. We don't know how they'll respond. And then we just, ride off into the port of the sunset. And if they're really good, they'll run the ball a lot so people can get home early and get to the summer house. So that's my thoughts on the picks. I think we're good with that. Let's jump up out of this piece, man. This was fun. This hat is nice too. You know, I still don't have a hat from like the Royals and the Crocs. Just so y'all know, y'all don't give me no hat, I might never pick y'all again. Out there. Hey there, fans of American football in Finland. Want to show some love and support to your favorite podcast? For just €3, you can buy us a cup of coffee and help keep our podcast running strong. But why stop at one cup? Why not support each host with a cup? Visit buymeacoffee.com and show your support today. Cheers to keeping the conversation going. That's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Any last words before we get out of here, fellas?
Again, I think we've said it all.
I just hope in the third quarter they don't tell the bus to start up. Start the bus.
Which game are you talking about?
This one over.
Which one? There's 3.
It's only the game that everybody want to watch. What you mean?
Okay.
Start the bus. Third quarter. Start the bus. Run the AC. Go to the K Market. Get us some sandwiches. Do all of this right here, man. I just hope not. I just play. I just want a good weekend of football, man. Definitely for all of them, man. Just a good week of football.
Yeah. So start the bus. All right. Well, good luck to all the teams this weekend. We'll see you next week right here on the AFF Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget.
Oh, he lagging.
F.